Hello everybody, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be giving you my Grandmaster Almost Celestial guide to the Thing. Alright, so the first major piece of advice I have for you on the Thing is to toggle your Yancy Street Charge from click to dash to hold to dash right here in the options. So what this does is it makes it so whenever you press the button and let go of it, it immediately will undo your dash as opposed to you having to press the button again. So you hold it for however long you want to do it, and then you let go for whenever you want to let go. Now, the reason you should turn this to hold to dash is when you are in a point-blank battle and you want to quickly do a dash for the damage buff, or just in order to stop enemies from using their movement to get away from you. Okay? So the next tip I have for you is an obvious one, but if you aren't sure how to do it very well, you should get some practice with it. So that's using your Yancy Street Charge as movement to get you to the fight quicker. I also suggest you just practice the movement on it in general, even if you aren't going to use it for like a tactical speed bonus. Just knowing how it works and how you control it. So the way it works is the later you are in your run, or the more drastic of a turn you try to make, the less control you kind of have of it. So it's kind of works on a delayed input kind of thing, where you'll say you hold left, he will slowly start to turn left, and then he will gradually, very quickly turn left. So you have to do small inputs unless you are trying to do that really quick movement and turnaround. So if you play on controller, I suggest just tapping with your sticks left or right, depending on which way you're trying to move, unless you are really trying to go for this drastic turn. And when you want to go for those drastic turns, you have to counteract the speed he gets. So if you are holding left, by the time you want him to start straightening out a little bit before that, you want to start tapping right as well, so you can even him back out. I'm sure you've played a game before that has similar controls, whether it's like some kind of vehicle or something you're used to, or like ice physics. It's kind of how he feels, kind of how he plays. My cat's eating the trash bag. Anyway, next. So, as you know, the Thing has two main form of attacks. He has his Rocky Jab, which is his main attack, just like everyone else's main attack. It has no cooldown of any sort, but he also has the Stone Haymaker, which is an alternate attack because it's technically one of his skills, but still also has no cooldown for it. It just has a longer charge-up time as opposed to his regular punch. When you use his regular punch, it does a little bit more damage than the Rocky Jab does, but it's a 1-2 hit as opposed to just a singular full hit. But again, it hits faster than it does with the full hit. But when you should use these, so you should use the Rocky Jab, which is the main attack, when you're fighting in a one-on-one situation and the person is right in front of you and you can very easily reach them. However, as you can see, I cannot reach this person from here with the Rocky Jab. However, I can with the Devastating Blow, because it has farther range than the Rocky Jab. And the Devastating Blow also hits multiple enemies with one hit if they are close enough to each other. And it can hit through shields and reach like from around corners. It can reach when you aren't even looking directly at the enemy, say they're like next to you or sometimes even behind you, it can still hit them. But you should be using your Rocky Jab when someone is right in your face and you have no worries about them running away or trying to put up a shield or anything like that. But you should be using this when the enemy is somewhat out of your reach. Maybe they're above you or below you, or perhaps they're in the act of running away from you, or they are faster than you. Whatever the case is, you should be using this anytime you are at the slightest disadvantage for range or speed, or when the enemy team is once again grouped up or hiding behind the shield. Okay, so these next few tips I'm going to show you some gameplay for, so I can kind of explain how they work. The Thing's ultimate, what it does is it hits all the enemies in front of you and launches them into the air. Now, this ignores shields, it ignores terrain, so if they're in front of you within like 30 feet, or 30 meters rather, they will get hit by your ultimate. Now, your ultimate is good, however, it's not crazy. You're not going to guarantee to kill someone just because you hit them with it. You want to aim for groups of enemies, not just weak enemies. So if both tanks and a DPS, or multiple DPS and a healer are grouped up, that's a good opportunity to use your ult. But if you can, combo it with someone on your team. So if you are in comms with another player on your team, like a DPS or a tank, being able to combo your ults together is great, because your ult leaves the enemy stunned for about 3 or 4 seconds entirely. Now, you don't even have to combo this with another ult, which is amazing because that way you can save your ults. One thing I think is great to combo with this is a Moon Knight Ankh or a Psylocke's dash ability, Black Panther dash ability, Iron Man, people with splash damage, Squirrel Girl. I'm going to show you this is with Moon Knight's Ankh here. So you can see I see some enemies grouped up, especially this Wolverine, and I hit them with my ultimate, and the Moon Knight places an Ankh down directly in the center of all of them and kills all 3 of them in a very rapid succession there. Now, I also want to say that I dashed here to stop the Wolverine from being thrown by the enemy, the thing. So I saw him pick up the Wolverine, and if you dash into them, it technically cancels it because it's a stun and a cooldown, or it's a movement ability, so it will cancel it. Okay, so the next little tip I have for you is when and where to use your embattled leap, which is an ability where he jumps to an ally and grants him and that ally damage reduction for a short amount of time. So this will be used in a lot of different ways, and you will see all the different ways you can utilize it when you are playing this character. However, the main ways I think you should utilize it is jumping to your allies when they are being attacked, so i.e. your tank when they're in the battle and they are hurt, or most of the time your healers or your backline DPS when they're getting jumped by enemy DPS or enemy tanks. However, you can also use it offensively. So just like I said, diving to your tank when he is hurt, you can also dive to your tank when he is just engaging the battle to give you both a little bit of damage reduction. And I really suggest using your embattled leap to jump on your team's divers, so i.e. your Magic, your Wolverine, your Iron Fist, or if you have a Hulk or a Thor, jumping with them is amazing because you both get that damage reduction and you're in the fight immediately and you can deal that damage. Now what's great about it is it's only a 3-second cooldown till you can use it again. However, the cooldown for it to be reset is closer to 8 seconds. So I suggest if you are jumping into the battle, make sure you have one ready and charged again, or at least close to being charged again, so you can immediately get out of that battle if you need to. Now I'm going to show you, this is a great combo if you are playing with Wolverine, because say you can throw that Wolverine in and you can follow him right with you. So this is just an example of how you really should use the dash ability, because it can go quite far, especially if you're following a teammate that's already moving, which is great for that reason. So with your Yancy Street Charge, which is his little charge forward ability, you can use that to instigate battles and to lock enemy divers in the center of your team so they cannot escape. Because the way it works is whenever you choose to let go and leave that crushing area, it makes it so enemies within that area cannot use mobility abilities. So say like Spider-Man, he cannot web sling. Psylocke can't dash. Things like that. So it's great for if there are DPS that are used to jumping in on your team and then immediately getting back out, because you can prevent them from doing that and then leave them screwed. But when you use your dash, make sure you are getting the maximum amount of hits out of it that you can, because when you are in the middle of the dash such as this, you can hit enemies just by going through them. But whenever you hit the ground, that counts as a separate hit. So when you're coming up to an enemy, you can hit them with the dash and going through the ground if you do it in proper succession. So you should be using this when an enemy is diving into your team and messing up your backline, or when you are going into an attack and you want to be able to get safely away so you can prevent the enemies from using their movement against you, or if you were playing against an enemy thing and he comes into your fight, or an enemy Thor, anybody with that requires movement to get away quickly, you can hit them with that and prevent them from doing so. Okay, so now that I've given you the general tips, I'm going to kind of go through some gameplay and show you how I utilize them and tell you some things that I may have not touched up on. So in the beginning of this clip, I kind of flipped it a little too early, but as you can see, I just ulted on the enemy healers, so I immediately dash into them to get myself into them quickly and get as much damage off as I can. Now, when I am using my dash, I aim for these characters. Like Scarlet Witch is a great character to hit because she really relies on that invisibility dash to get away. So when she can't, it's pretty much a free pick for her. Now, what I'm also doing is when I'm using my devastating blow, that heavier hit, I try and line the enemies up directly in front of me so I can hit both of them at the same time. He's great against Captain America because he can still hit through Captain America's shield. Okay, so immediately at the start of this clip, you can see I'm waiting for this enemy Spider-Man to push up onto my team. However, he never does, but I was waiting for him to do so I could hit him with my Yankee Charge and trap him there, and we could easily kill him. But I went for this quick little flank and happened to see two of the main healers right next to each other, so I hit them with my ultimate, and I charged up a heavy hit to deal damage to both of them at the same time, which got me 2 kills with 1 punch there. And I'm also using the Invisible Woman's buff here. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but when you have an Invisible Woman on your team, any of the other Fantastic Four members can activate this little bubble shield that gives them a regenerative shield, which is amazing for the Thing, because he can utilize that to give him just a little bit more health when he is in that fight. I suggest you use this before you go into the battle, because it has about a 20-second cooldown, and you might have it cool down again by the time you need to push forwards or get back out. But the Thing is great for damage negation because of the Invisible Woman ability and because of the leap he has where he gives him and his teammate that extra little bit of health, and he gets armor ability from using his Yancy Street Charge. So just a little bit of advice here on his ultimate. So as you can see, again there, I'm lining up characters so I can hit them all at the same time with 1 heavy blow. But this here is some advice on his ultimate. So his ultimate charges very quickly. Passively, it charges about 1% every second, which is crazy because that means you get your ult in a minute and a half. Not even attacking, we're not even playing. So when you are playing and you are attacking quickly, you will get your ultimate very fast. Now, his ultimate is not always going to be game-changing. His ultimate is kind of a lesser one, I would say, but it can be game-changing. But I would not suggest holding it and waiting for an opportunity too long, because at that point, if you've gone multiple minutes holding that same ultimate, you could have charged another one in that time if you just used it and just played regularly. So I really don't suggest holding it for the perfect opportunity, because you're not always going to find it. If it forces out a healer ult, that's value, that's great. If it forces the enemies back and you get some payload you get some momentum, perfect, it's great. If it forces out a tank supportive ult, like a defensive tank ult, that's great. Even if it doesn't do that, whatever, move past it. You didn't get anything with your ult, it's fine. Just rebuild it and go again. Okay, so with this, I'm going to show you how you can utilize the enemy tank moving past the choke to your advantage. So, this Captain America moves into my team. I could stay behind and help the team deal with him, however, I'm confident they can handle it. So I decided to go ahead and take the advantage here and move on to the enemy healers. So I move in with the Yancy Street Charge so they cannot use their movement abilities, and I am doing my best to line them up because they're not paying attention to me. They're trying to keep the... Sorry, my buddy's online. They're trying to keep the Captain America alive, so I'm doing essentially just beating the fuck out of them until they die because they're not paying attention to me. Okay, so again, I'm just going to give you some general advice on my way out here. So when you want to play the Thing, you should look at what the enemy team comp is and what your team comp is, because while he is a great character, he doesn't fit into everything very well, and he is very easily countered because of how little range he has. So he's great against characters with shields. So if you have a Magneto, a Doctor Strange, or a Captain America on the other team, he is great to play against that. However, if the enemy team has a Groot, a Thor, or a Penny Parker, I would not suggest playing any of these characters because Penny can still stun you despite their passive ability. Groot can wall you in and trap you, and you cannot easily escape these walls because in order to use his main getaway cooldown, you need to have a friendly in your sight. So if he walls off your friendlies, you are trapped essentially. And Thor would suggest playing against because Thor is able to output so much damage against you because the fact that you are not movable makes it so he can hit you with his abilities more often and get even more damage off on you. Now, the main things to keep in mind out of everything I've suggested, I would really just try to focus on keeping enemies immobilized with your Yancy Street Charge, lining enemies up and knowing when to use your heavy blow or your regular attack, not wasting your time by keeping your ultimate too long, and then knowing when to dive into the enemy team and knowing when and how to get out of the enemy team. I'm also going to say, if you haven't played the Thing, and the Hulk combo is fucking amazing. I think it's one of my favorite tank combos in the game now, which is funny because before it was Doctor Strange and Hulk. but now, you know, not much has changed because Hulk's still in the mix. But, you know, two enemies at heart, they have a common enemy. Now they just get ass together. But, no, really that's about all that I've actually got for you today. So again, that's all that I've got for you today. I went through my whole little list, and I hope that I taught you something new, and I hope that you can play the thing better after watching this video. I hope you're excited to play the thing. I love playing him, he's a blast. If you have any questions or things that I didn't cover that you think is like noteworthy, let me know in the comments, and like I can go over them. I can make a different video on it. But overall, I really hope this video helps, and I hope that you appreciate and can just find some use in this video. So yeah, that's all that I've got. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. As soon as my buddy hops online, I get to go play some ranked, and I'm probably gonna grind Celestial. So next time you guys see me on here, it'll probably be a Celestial guide instead of a Grandmaster one. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, I'm gonna stay.